Hell on Earth is a good level with some design, so let's talk about why this is true, proven true. So first of all, the first room, you start off with 3 zombies, your basic combat shotgun fire. Nothing fancy, right? Well, this is actually a great way to introduce the player to the basic movement of the game and the firing, because you get to, well, shoot easy zombies with nothing else. So we come through the next room and we're introduced to the glory kill. This is a super integral part of the combat system Doom Dance, and you even get a little tutorial, but we've all seen that before anyway, I'm sure. And these are just 2 things right in the first seconds of the game that the player learns. And these are very important parts of the Doom Dance. So as we come down here, we get the chainsaw. This is going to be how you retrieve your ammunition mostly, so naturally it's important to have at the start of the game and showing the player that, hey, you're going to be using this a lot. So just in the first moment, we've learned a lot about this game. Now there's another thing that they teach us too, and this is to look for these breakable walls for secrets, and a little bit of extra exploring to see our very first secret this early in the game. We haven't even left the barge. And of course, we find extra things along the way. Now when we go a little bit further, the whole point, I'll tell you about the whole point in this here in just a moment, is that we come to our first breakable box. Well, what's this important for? This teaches us that when we see that green light, we have to punch the object and we can jump and mantle up this way to our very first armor piece, health piece, and mod bot. So of course right here you're going to always want to choose sticky bombs. You'll never want to choose full auto because true Chads do sticky bombs, true virgins do full auto. I'm sorry, Mayo, I'm just kidding. Okay, when we open this door, we get 3 zombies here. Well, we now have our sticky bombs. What does the game want us to do? They want us to fire the bombs, and they show us that, hey, this green light here, wow, this means we get to bust open the door to our first arena. Everything that has been taught to us thus far as the player is the basics of the game. Jumping, moving, shooting, and if you're an experienced FPS veteran, you might say, wow, that's all basic stuff. But you have to remember, Doom Eternal sold almost $500 million in its first year. That is $500 million almost. People that are going to pick up this game that have no idea how to play FPS, and they need to be ushered into the fold and shown the different ways to do it. And this combat section is a great way because, as you see, I'm moving around, running, gunning, shooting. We're introduced to 2 enemy types here that are new, the soldier and the imp, as well as our very familiar zombies that we'll use our chainsaw to be able to fight here. And I am really going to die in this instructional video, aren't I? So we are learning that, hey, low health is a thing. We're going to have a way to kill the zombies and learn about how the combat system flows. We only have 1 weapon so far. We only have 1 mod. We have new health pickups that are scattered around. So we really learn a lot. And this is an improvement from Doom 2016. Oh, the barrels, of course. Because you don't get a lot in 2016's beginning sections. You get like 1 mod bot further in the level. This gives you so much to take in. So they have to, well, jump pads, you learn about those too. You have to take it in and really just take your time learning it. And Doom Eternal does a great job with that. So when we step out here, what do we get? Wow, the big outdoor area. The first part, that was just a tutorial. The barge exists. Its whole intention and purpose is to be a tutorial for the player to teach them the basic movement. And here we have some rough terrain we can play around and move around on and experiment with the jumping and the mantling and everything we learned in the barge. We get more collectibles along the way to teach us, hey, we can pick these up, and we get another mod bot that we're going to use full auto. I was just kidding earlier, Mayo. I am so sorry if you're watching this. You know I'm just kidding. Full auto just got a buff, by the way. Pretty nice. You remember that sticky bomb full auto debate? That was so funny. We get a new green breakable wall, and we're introduced to, well, nothing new just yet. A large falling down here with some enemies and an optional encounter, sure, but the real magic comes in the next section. So this is actually going to be a very special area. We are teaching how to follow these green armor pieces for the monkey bars, and we're teaching how to mantle on those. Now the first real arena comes as we meet our very first heavy demon. You know him, you love him, the ARACHNOTRON. So this is important because this ARACHNOTRON teaches us a lot about the game. In this arena we have imps, we have soldiers, and everything in barrels. This is our first breakable weak point right here. They didn't just choose a Hell Knight. They didn't choose anything else. They chose something that we could shoot and break and get that feeling, that sound to teach us, hey, this is done. This also gives us a chance to experiment with our mods, just like this. Well, maybe the full auto is better. And of course the glory kill. Once we continue doing this with Arena, let's talk about how this one is different from the Barge. It's our first outdoor arena. We have the barrels, a lot of mixture, and it takes everything we learn in that first battle and expands upon it. We still have the zombies, we still have the imps, but this is something that Doom Eternal does really good at. It shows you all of the things in the battles and just a little bit of a challenge before bringing your new weapons on board. So for example, when you first see the Hell Knight, you don't have your dash, and you have to learn how to deal with them that way. Opening cutscene, this is important. I know we rag on them, well, people do, because we've seen it 1,000 times, but this teaches the player, hey, go, look up this way. You have to see this direction. So we do. And we find a green pickup. A lot of people were talking about Doom 2016, how you could go to the wall and pick it up off a soldier and it looked realistic, but this is more of the arcade feel, and they really want the player to catch these. If you don't pick this gun up, you'll have more opportunities later. We continue to pass through. Well, just imagine all the things that we've learned so far in this level. A lot of people, I know when we get used to this, we're like, oh, I want the dash, I want all of this. But you have to remember, a brand new player is not going to be ready for all of this stuff yet, although it really would be cool to have. This shows us familiar territory as we pass by. We have our markers to show us the next section, and we learn something new in this next area. Well, there's a bell that you shoot that dings. But we do find a little more than what we had beforehand. Lots more zombies, lots more imps, and an ARACHNOTRON down here. And we find out that, hey, this is a bigger fight outside, but they don't put too much on us at any one given time. Now they open it up a little bit. Remember, those were first tightly packed arenas. This arena is different than the last two because it's wide open and you can explore up this way, up that way, and most importantly, we have a new weapon we can use. We have to learn about the glory kills and I am really going to die in this tutorial. All of these things, we even learned that you can use your chainsaw against the ARACHNOTRON if you didn't do it before. So what's so significant about this is that we get the jump pads, we can explore the different area up here. We get the heavy cannon. Yes, it's the base fire, but this teaches us how to switch between weapons back and forth while glory killing and fighting and really trying to push that fight forward. So we learned that, hey, the ARACHNOTRON probably should go. He is one of the key enemies we need to take down. And once we do that, this opens up here. Look at all we've learned. Back to familiar concept, the green breakable wall, more zombies. Is there anything new that we get to learn here? Not so much just yet, but there definitely is as we proceed on in the level. Just normal fights, some secrets back there with the extra life, which is worth showing you. See, we're back here. Remember those breakable wall secrets? This is another way to show the player, hey, you will be rewarded for your exploring in Doom Eternal. Now, we still have some more things that are ahead of our way. We've not gotten everything in the level yet, but let's continue on to see that the yellow key card. This is our first key card that we obtain in Doom Eternal, and we get our first through-the-wall jump scare. Notice how these little elements are adding up over and over, and we return to an existing arena. This shows us we go looping around using the key card into the subway station. Now this is an area where it's optional. We don't have to fight everything that we see here. That is fine. But if you do want to fight them, you have an ARACHNOTRON, you have... Oh, I'll just lose a life. That's fine. You have the ARACHNOTRON and all these things down here. And then our next mod bot. Now pay attention closely here. You got a lot that we pick up on in this section. We get our mod bot, and we'll say Precision Bolt. Why not? So after we pick up the Precision Bolt, we get our next mod, and we learn about the mods. And of course, we get the frag grenade. So now we're being introduced to the equipment and everything that comes along with it, as well as a callback to the monkey bars. There's a lot for a new player to learn that's never played FPS. And I know they don't have this, but we have the Caco Demon that we meet. This is a perfect way to show, hey, use your sticky bombs in his mouth or your frag grenades. Either one works for you to do this. Very cool introduction to the Caco Demon because you just get your frag grenade and you learn, hey, there's another way to take these guys down. With the chainsawing, with everything. We've already seen 2 heavies, a bunch of fodder. Doom 2016 did not introduce this much this fast. So the Eternal devs have to keep in mind new players, how fast they learn, what they can absorb, and feed them in. As experienced players, we are like, oh, this is old stuff. But just right here, this arena adds to what we learned before by adding a monkey bar inside the fight. There's so little things that we miss once we've run through these levels millions of times. As we're just going to kill AI just to get everything knocked out of the way here. Super interesting ways that the Doom Eternal devs put through. And now we have the cutscene to show us that there's a spider coming through the wall. Die. We go back outside and around again, and we meet a Caco demon in the air. This is our next opportunity to say, hey, how can we take this guy out? And just this far into the level, look how far we are. We have our first traversal puzzle here. Grab onto the wall, jump onto there, around the fire. Of course, we go back into the sewer. And there's so much more that this level will teach us. We meet the tentacles, another new enemy here that we can use a precision bolt to take down, and through the tunnels. There's a lot more to cover in this whole game and level, but this at least gives you a good idea of what Hell on Earth teaches the player and really, really introduces them into Doom Eternal. And it is a good level when you consider the game design. That's its intention, is good game design. And I wish we had a master level of it so we could master that design, but it accomplishes its purpose and does well at what it needs to do. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like videos about this, and I will see you in the next one.